I, 32M, am divorcing my wife, 33F, after discovering that the child I thought was my son, 5M, is not biologically mine. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I found out that my wife cheated on me 6 years ago. The way I found out was that her sister told me after I went to visit her to see how the delivery of her first child went. She confessed that 6 years ago, my wife told her she had slept with her best friend after drinking too much. According to her, my wife was very remorseful. When she told me this, I was with my son, and immediately after leaving her house, I went to take a paternity test with him, fearing the worst. A week later, I got the results, and my fears came true. My son is not mine. For some reason, I started seeing the boy differently, more like an acquaintance than my own child. With the proof in hand, I confronted my wife that night when the child was asleep. She asked who told me, and I simply said it was none of her business, though she would obviously connect the dots that it was her sister. That's not my problem anymore. Regardless, I asked her for a divorce, which is now in process. She was devastated. She swore several times that nothing had happened with anyone else since then, and that she had been faithful to me in body and soul. I held back the urge to argue further to avoid complications during the divorce, not believing a word she said, especially since she blamed the alcohol instead of taking responsibility. After we talked, she threatened that she would demand full custody of the child. I was so upset at that moment that I told her fine. I didn't want anything to do with something that wasn't mine. She could keep the child, and I'd keep the dogs. We have 2 dogs we adopted as puppies, both now 8 years old. After that, she tried to convince me to help her raise the child, saying that I was his father. At that moment, I lost control and told her to leave with her son. A week has passed since then, and I'm still at home. It's in my name since it was a gift from my parents. She went to her parents' house with the boy and hasn't called me since. She left that night with everything and a half-asleep child after I raised my voice. It was the first time I had ever done that, so I'm sure it affected her. I talked to my parents, and my dad told me I did the right thing, that I shouldn't be raising a child who isn't biologically mine, and I agree with him. Still, the pain remains. My younger brother told me to write about it to distract myself. I'm currently seeing a therapist 3 times a week who told me that I've already taken the first step, leaving behind what causes me pain. It just hurts to know that my family no longer exists. As for why my sister-in-law told me, she said she felt guilty seeing me always happy with my son, knowing he might not be mine. She said that seeing us visit her in a moment of weakness made her break down completely from guilt. I don't know how true that is, but right now I feel tremendous anger toward my wife and a mix of pain and resentment toward the child, though I know it's just a matter of time before I move on. I just hope the divorce goes smoothly. We have separate finances and properties, and if she ever asks for child support, I have proof he's not mine. According to my lawyer, that's more than enough if she tries to pursue it legally. My therapist also recommended that I don't see either of them for now, and that regardless of the child's feelings, I should focus on my own healing first. The child is no longer my responsibility, and the sooner I accept that, the better.
My girlfriend confessed to cheating on me, so I lied and told her I cheated on her. My 25-mate girlfriend, 26F, confessed to cheating on me last night, so I told her I'd been cheating the whole time we've been together. I had my suspicions that she'd been cheating, as she'd been staying out late and just acting strange in general. When she made her big announcement, I replied by saying I'd been cheating on her for the entirety of our relationship, which isn't true. I told her I'd been seeing another woman consistently, and this drove her absolutely insane. I genuinely thought she was going to do something rash, like slash my tires or something. But no, she just screamed at me and demanded to know who she was. She went on to say she only cheated once and that she was completely inebriated when it happened, as if that somehow absolves her of any wrongdoing. The audacity. Anyway, I broke up with her and threw her out of my house. Then I invited the boys over for some BBQ. All in all, it was a hilarious experience. I know it's not a crazy story, but I thought it was funny enough to share.
Husband wants to reset his whole life. Hi, I'm a 35-year-old woman married to a 45-year-old man for over 7 years. We have 4 beautiful kids. My husband recently had his birthday this week, and I surprised him with a pregnancy test showing that we're expecting our 5th child. He seemed to have a meltdown when he heard it and said, "No, it's impossible. We've been careful." I thought he would be happy since he had always said, even when we were dating, that he wanted a big family. I tried to calm him down somehow. Yesterday, I went with my husband to the gynecologist for my sonogram, and the doctor said I'm 10 weeks pregnant with twins. My husband was livid. He kept screaming, No, 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 over and over. After his meltdown at the doctor's office, he told me he just couldn't have 6 kids at his age. I was so confused because this was something he always said he wanted. I cried and asked him what we were supposed to do. But he kept repeating that he just couldn't have 6 kids. On our way home, he said he shouldn't have gotten married or had kids, and that he didn't even know if his life was worth it anymore, that he wished he had a reset button. I got so mad and told him it takes 2 to create a child, that this wasn't just on me. Today, I woke up to the sound of my kids screaming and crying, begging their father not to go. Turns out he had already packed and was ready to leave. My 3-year-old was hugging his dad's luggage, crying, while his father stood there expressionless. That's when I realized I'd made a mistake marrying him. It's going to be hard, especially being pregnant. But I have a full-time job, a nanny, and a supportive circle of family and friends. It's best if he goes. I don't need another baby to take care of. So, to my soon-to-be ex-husband, Jerry, forget you. Don't come back.
I guess everyone has a different definition of what a large family is. To me, 4 kids would already be a lot, and 6 would feel enormous. I don't agree with how he reacted or handled the situation, but I do think both of you should have communicated more clearly about when to stop having children. It sounds like you were on completely different pages about that. I really hope things work out as peacefully and positively as they can for everyone involved. I grew up as the oldest in a large family, 9 kids, and it was actually great. My parents made a real effort to give each of us one-on-one time, and we still have long, meaningful conversations with them to this day. I'm genuinely grateful that as I got older, I got to help raise my younger siblings. At a younger age than most, I learned skills like cooking, cleaning, changing diapers, caring for babies, and even basic first aid, all in a safe, low-stress environment, since mom or dad were always nearby in case I needed help. Those experiences made me a much better husband and father later in life. When our first baby came along, I wasn't standing there clueless. I already knew what to do. I was actually more experienced than my wife. She didn't grow up in a big family. So we've always shared those responsibilities equally. With so many siblings, sure, we fought sometimes, but we also played a lot. We never had to worry about not having friends because we had plenty right at home. We were all in it together, staying up late talking, playing, or sneaking out to the backyard. If 2 or 3 of us were fighting, there were still plenty of others to hang out with, which kept things balanced. Everyone knew and was comfortable with everyone else. Money was definitely tight, but honestly, I don't think having more presents at Christmas would have made my childhood any better. I had plenty to do, and if I didn't have something, I figured out how to make it or earn it myself. My parents prioritized health, so most of their money went toward good food rather than eating out. They got really good at cooking amazing meals from scratch, and we all did too.
I just don't get it. You're saying that he wanted a lot of kids when you were dating, which is past. I'm pretty sure every couple will have their moment of discussion before making a baby. Didn't you have one before going for a 5th one? Also, you inform him before 10th week pregnancy? It's way too late. I'm not exactly defending your husband, but your story has a lot of holes.
What's your worst relationship experience? Leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.